Good Friday morning to you, and we are on a roller coaster ride in the last 24 hours leading up to the South Carolina primary.
What part of the roller coaster?
Well,
when you go way down?
I'm not sure. The polls are tightening. A one-time favorite drops out. One candidate facing tough questions about his taxes, accusations that another candidate wanted an open marriage, and a new result in Iowa. Hang on, everybody. Keep those seatbelts buckled. I'm John Scott.
That read like a quiz. You have to match your candidate to what we just said, and it's certainly a lot for each and every candidate that was on that stage last night for the debate.
And there are fewer of them, so it's an easier match now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna Lee, and we're here in the Fox newsroom, and happening now, the final push to the first in the South primary. The polls open less than 20 hours from now, and right now, it's really anybody's guess who will win. But one thing we know for sure. Since 1980, every GOP candidate who won South Carolina went on to win the Republican nomination. Now, last night, the candidates made their case to voters yet again. The debate starting with fireworks when Newt Gingrich was asked about an interview his ex-wife gave to ABC. Check it out and pay close attention to the crowd's reaction.
As you know, your ex-wife gave an interview to ABC News and another interview at the Washington Post, and this story has now gone viral on the internet. In it, she says that you came to her in 1999, at a time when you were having an affair. She says you asked her, sir, to enter into an open marriage. Would you like to take some time to respond to that?
No, but I will. I think the destructive, vicious, negative nature of much of the news media makes it harder to govern this country, harder to attract decent people to run for public office, and I am appalled that you would begin a presidential debate on a topic like that.
So what do you think about all that? Let's talk to David Drucker. He is a staff writer for Roll Call, talks politics all day long. Newt Gingrich had to be pretty heartened by the crowd's reaction to his answer there, David.
He had to be, and I think the question now is, will South Carolina voters react the way the crowd in the room did? We need to look tomorrow to see what the female vote is versus the male vote, because Newt Gingrich, even in South Carolina, does not do as well with women voters as he does with men voters. And then we have to see if female voters are as responsive to his answer statewide as it appeared as though people in the room were.
Do you think it's a male-female thing?
Well, I think when you're talking with a photo finish race, and this morning my sources are telling me in South Carolina that we're dealing with a photo finish, Newt surging, Romney trying to hang on, Santorum not catching fire soon enough, that anything can tip the balance. How many people have voted absentee? How many people voted absentee when they voted maybe for Romney and today might have voted for Newt because he's changed minds over the course of this week? I think if we were talking, for instance, John, about a general election race, we would look at Newt's answer last night, and despite the reaction in the room, we'd say this is a horrible answer and a really bad subject for him to be dealing with. But in a state that's conservative, in a state where Republicans are angry and want to change the way the country has operated under Barack Obama, they're very suspicious of the media, and this kind of argument can definitely work in a state like this. And so I think the big question mark is, was it enough to stop the bleeding for Mitt Romney, get him a chance to sort of go on offense with the message that he has, and hang on just enough to win tomorrow?
Yeah, you talk about stopping the bleeding for Mitt Romney. You talk about a photo finish, and the polls indicate that. Let's take a look, first of all, at a Rasmussen poll taken 2 days ago. It showed Newt Gingrich ahead, in South Carolina, 33% to 31% for Mitt Romney. Now, it's within the margin of error, so essentially we have to call it a tie. But Real Clear Politics, their poll, which is an average of all the polls out there, shows essentially the same thing. Newt Gingrich up 32.5% to Mitt Romney's 31.5%. This thing really is going to be a photo finish, and I guess the determining factor might be last night's debate.
It could. You know, coming out of Monday night's Fox News debate, Newt had all of the momentum. He performed well. He gave South Carolina voters his best case. Romney was constantly on defense over his tax returns. He wasn't able to talk about his record in business as a positive thing. Unemployment is a big deal in South Carolina, and he wasn't able to present himself and the strength he has in dealing with that. And that's been his problem all week. Not necessarily that people care about his tax returns or how he ran his business at Bain, but it obscured the positive message he has that can actually work in a state like South Carolina, given his liabilities with evangelicals and social conservatives. And so now the question, as you note, is will last night's debate and the issue with Marianne Gingrich and the interview and some of the hits that Rick Santorum got on Newt Gingrich's leadership abilities, will that change the narrative over the last 36 hours and stop Newt's upward climb? He's clearly gotten to a point where he's either tied or ahead of Mitt Romney. Can this stop the surge for Mitt Romney and give him a chance to win? Well,
let's talk quickly about the other two men who are on the podium, Ron Paul and Rick Santorum. Did they get their points across? Did they win voters?
Well, if Rick Santorum can't win voters after last night's debate, he's never going to win voters. I mean, the guy more or less won Iowa. He's been ahead of Newt Gingrich every step of the way when you actually count votes, and yet he's way back in the pack. He last night attacked Mitt Romney effectively. He attacked Newt Gingrich effectively. He made his case for his policies and his vision very effectively. And so if that doesn't do the trick with South Carolina voters today and tomorrow, it's never going to work. But you have to say he did a great job. Ron Paul was fine. It's just he's Ron Paul. He's only going to get a certain segment of the electorate. South Carolina is not a hospitable state for him because of his views on national security and foreign policy. And even on social issues, while he's personally a social conservative, his libertarian outlook and approach to government means that he doesn't want government involved in the way that social conservatives prefer on issues like abortion and other things. And so that's his problem there.
It has been a fascinating 48 hours, and this race, as you said, is going to be a photo finish. Going to be interesting to watch over the next day or two. David Drucker from Roll Call, thank you.
Thanks a lot.